Hello everyone, welcome to Seoul. Today, we are going to take a close look at Seoul's urban planning. First, we will go over the current state of Seoul and its development process. Then, we will introduce Seoul's urban planning system. Lastly, we will cover Seoul's major projects in urban planning. In this section, we will discuss the current state of Seoul, the city's history of growth, and the challenges the city is facing. Located in the middle of Northeast Asia, Seoul has been the capital city of Korea since year 1394. It is a mega city with an area size about 605 square kilometers, with a population of 10 million. Seoul is a densely populated city, surpassing the density of other megacities such as London and New York City. Especially after the Korean War, the city's population has quadrupled over 50 years. Also, Seoul boasts its exquisite natural environment, rare for global megacities. The city center, the 8 mountains that surround Seoul, and the Han River flowing across the city have long served as the subject and background for work of arts since ancient times. Now they provide public leisure space for 10 million citizens. Seoul is a historic and cultural city where people have resided since ancient times. Since the Joseon era, the last kingdom of Korea, the city has been serving as the capital of the Korean peninsula for 600 years. Seoul, among the other major cities, is a city widely acclaimed for its excellent infrastructure ranging from transportation, IT, convention, and R&D. Seoul has achieved remarkably rapid economic growth unprecedented in the world. In the recent 50 years, its GDP has grown 400 times, and the city has entered the top 10 in global urban competitiveness rankings since 2010. Since the 80s, during which the city has begun to actively host various international events, Seoul has become a global city with over 10 million foreigners visiting annually. For Seoul to become the Seoul you see now, numerous processes and history were behind its growth. In the early 20th century, with the Japanese occupation and the Korean War, Seoul's urban spaces were gravely distorted and damaged. Nevertheless, after the war, the city rapidly carried out a city-centric post-war restoration and development. During this time, the Seoul Complex Mall, which is now undergoing regeneration, was built, and the Cheonggae Overpass, which is now removed, was built over the Cheonggae-cheon Stream. Meanwhile, due to Seoul's rapid growth, Seoul City Center was increasingly becoming over-concentrated. To solve this issue, the city dispersed its core functions to Gangnam and Yeouido, its population to the city's outskirts such as Sangye, Gaepo, and Mokdong by building large-scale apartment complexes. With the 1988 Olympics, the city's first global event, as a momentum, the city began to carry out redevelopments in the city's major areas, such as the Han River, and also in hill areas where there were substandard housing. In the early 2000s, to systematically redevelop the aging town area, the city executed large-scale renewal projects, such as the new towns. Simultaneously, with changing urban planning paradigms, efforts were made to restore the city's identity and create pedestrian-oriented places for citizens. Recently, the city has been concentrating its efforts on human and historic, cultural, environmental, landscape-centric urban regeneration, tailored to each area's distinctive characteristics. As a result of its citizen participatory urban regeneration endeavors, Seoul has been awarded the Lee Kuan Yew World City Prize, which is considered the Nobel Prize of Urban Administration. However, Seoul is currently faced with urban problems inflicted by the side effects of its very remarkable economic growth and development. Due to disorderly development, communities were destroyed and unbalanced regional development occurred. Its beautiful and valuable historical and cultural heritages, environment, and landscape have been harmed. Serious levels of pollution were reached, while abnormal climate is worsening. Also, the city has entered an era of low growth with the aging population and deepening youth unemployment. Therefore, the city of Seoul is seeking to apply an urban planning system, policies, and projects to solve such various urban problems. From now on, we will go over the details on how Seoul is managing its urban spaces with its urban planning system and detailed plans. This is Seoul's urban planning system. The urban planning system is related to the legal urban planning system, but it's slightly different. To maintain an unwavering urban planning system even after a century, Seoul has established the Urban Planning Charter. Also, the city planned the 2030 Seoul Plan in detail and established the 2030 Community Plan, which provides directions and guidelines for relevant plans and sub-plans for development. Based on these, major area development plans and urban management plans interact with individual spatial and development plans and help the city to manage Seoul's spatial plans and policies in a sophisticated framework. Next, we will continue to look at these major urban plans in detail. This is the Seoul Urban Planning Charter, the foundation for Seoul's urban planning. The charter contains Seoul's urban planning philosophy for the next 100 years, which was drafted together with 170 citizen representatives. Consisting of 10 articles, the charter serves the role akin to that of a constitution for Seoul's urban planning, providing consistent and unchanging principles regardless of time. Next is the highest legal plan for urban planning, the 2030 Seoul Plan. Seoul Plan is based on the foundation of the Urban Planning Charter, providing direction and a blueprint for the city's next 20 years. The term Seoul Plan is a special name for Seoul's Urban Master Plan. Experts and 220 citizens participated to complete the contents of the 2030 Seoul Plan, which provides strategic plans centered on 5 core issues. The Seoul Plan established its position as the highest legal plan and strengthened its feasibility for implementation. Especially the future image of the city, happy city of citizens with communication and consideration, was purely decided by the citizens. To realize this future image, plans for each core issue and spatial plans were planned respectively. For the issue-based plans, 5 issues were selected, and below them, 17 goals and 58 implementation strategies were prepared in detail. As for the spatial structure, the city's natural historic frame were reflected. The city's central spatial structure was restructured, and urban axes for better spatial communication and mutual development were established. Most of all, the city's central spatial structure was reorganized into 3 main centers, 7 regional centers, and 12 local centers, considering Seoul's urban competitiveness and balanced regional development. And for the spatial management, 12 detailed goals were set for the sophisticated management for each area. The spatial plan was laid out for 5 regions, while the detailed plans were later planned in the 2030 Community Plan. Next, we will introduce the 2030 Community Plan that actualizes the 2030 Seoul Plan's regional blueprints. The 2030 Community Plan is a detailed and comprehensive plan of legal stature for the entire city, tailored to each community area, providing each area with a future image, development strategy, and management plan. The plan was first established in March 2018. The 2030 Community Plan is a bottom-up plan planned by residents and the city's sub-districts, especially the Resident Participatory Group, consisting of residents in the community area, discovered the area's issues and resources, playing a critical role in designing a specialized plan for their community area. The term community area stands for neighborhood units for the citizens' daily lives, covering commute to work, schools, shopping, leisure, meeting friends, business, public service. Community areas consist of 5 regional community areas and 116 local community areas made up of 2 to 3 smallest administrative districts, or domes. Community plan is a plan that actualizes the urban master plan and guides all other relevant urban management and development plans, serving as an integrative, comprehensive, and intermediary plan. The plan provides guidelines for the core issues, goals, and implementation strategies for each regional community area and also lays out spatial management guidelines for city centers, zoning landscape, and daily living services. Regional Community Plan focuses on raising the competitiveness and self-sufficiency of each region to lead balanced development among regions. The Local Community Plan reflects the residents' opinions, locally pressing issues, and reflects each area's different needs in detail. The Guidelines for Spatial Management provides detailed urban management directions for each community area's development concept or blueprint. For example, here is the Spatial Management Plan for the Southwestern region, which is visually mapped out spatial plans for the community area's development concept. Here's the Spatial Management Plan for the Doksan community area, which is one of the community areas of the Southwestern region. Historic City Center Master Plan is a plan to manage in detail the historic city center located within the 4 main gates of Old Seoul that has served as the capital of Korea for the last 600 years. The historic city center has been in the center of Korea's history and is one of the most representative tourist attractions in contemporary times. Thus, the area requires a special plan for its area management. By reflecting citizens' opinions, the vision of the historic city center was decided as the city center where citizens' lives and history coexist. 5 core issues and spatial management plans to spatially achieve such goals constitute the master plan. The spatial management directions entail the following. First, to respect the historic city center's distinct natural historic frame. Second, to induce gradual regeneration while considering its various characteristics. And third, to establish a sustainable network connecting the center's major spatial functions. For systematic management, the city center has been divided into 3 different types: special characteristic management type, general management type, and rehabilitation type. Then, the plan includes height control plans considering the inner mountains and the Seoul Fortress, and heritage preservation and restoration plans to drive regional regeneration. Putting all this together, the master plan provides area goals and guidelines for 7 sub-areas in the historic city center. For example, the plan for Sejongdaero area includes plans to create a pedestrian network for the nation's symbolic axis connecting Seoul Station, City Hall, and Gyeongbok Palace. Lastly, the Han Riverfront Management Master Plan is the first master plan for the Han River based on the 2030 Seoul Plan. The Han River is a symbolic space of modernization, as the term Miracle of the Han River stands for Korea's economic growth. It is Seoul's vastest and most valuable urban open space. However, it is cut off by expressways and its surrounding is mostly privatized that it is difficult for Seoul citizens to access and enjoy. To create a citizen-centered Han River that further serves the public interest even after a century, Seoul, with its citizens, established 12 management principles for the river and the riverfront for the 4 sectors ranging from nature, land use, accessibility, and urban landscape. Also, the plan divided the entire river and riverfront area into 7 regions, 27 areas, and provided each area with tailored management principles, so that the plan can provide concrete guidelines when other urban plans or developments in each respective area are carried out. As for the Dongsan Area Plan in the Han Riverfront Management Plan, this comprehensive area map includes detailed implementation plans which reflect the area's characteristics, such as being a place in which two streams converge and where there are many industrial areas. Next, we will introduce some of the major projects now being carried out in Seoul. Within the framework of a strong urban planning system, as explained earlier, Seoul is carrying out various urban planning projects to retrieve Seoul's identity and strengthen its global urban competitiveness. It is focusing on growing urban centers for the city's urban competitiveness and balanced regional development, utilizing its historic natural resources to pursue historic cultural regeneration, regenerating residential areas, and rejuvenating communities and the local economy based on resident participation, and preparing for Seoul's future generation and growth engine by supporting the youth. We will further explain some of these major projects. This is the Development Master Plan for the Yongdong Region's COEX to Jamsil Stadium area. Yongdong Region is where various exhibition convention facilities are located, such as COEX, the Jamsil Sports Complex, in which the '88 Olympics were held. It is also abundant in nature and historical heritages, such as the Han River, Tancheon Stream, and Bongunsa Temple. Yet, compared to its international potential and its various assets, the area lacks infrastructure for international business, cultural and tourism-related activities, while its facilities are aging and isolated from neighboring areas. To overcome these issues, the 2030 Seoul Plan has elevated this area into one of the three main centers for global urban competitiveness. Based on the Seoul Plan, this Development Master Plan provided three directions to make the Yongdong area a multi-purpose hub for international exchange, specializing on international business and MICE industries. The first is to build more space for international business and strengthen MICE infrastructure to create core spaces to lead Seoul's international competitiveness. The second is to integrate open space and facilities with the Han River and Tancheon Stream in the center, thus creating grand open space and developing it into a global and local attraction. The last direction is to expand transportation infrastructure to upgrade mass transit for greater regional connection as well as within the city. Through this, the Yongdong area will become a place that leads Seoul urban competitiveness. Next is on the plan to create the Changdong-Sangye New Economic Center in Seoul's northeastern area. In the northeast of Seoul, in a strategic location that connects the city center to the outskirts, about 0.38 square kilometers of underused areas are concentrated around Changdong and Noan Station. With expected urban regeneration using these sites, the Changdong-Sangye area is located in the middle of Seoul's northeastern area with a population of 3.2 million. It has been promoted into a regional center status in the 2030 Seoul Plan, with great growth potential to become the center for jobs and culture in the region. With the vision of growing the Changdong-Sangye region into the center for jobs and culture for the 3.2 million people in the northeastern region, Seoul established visions for the area to become an advanced space for culture and the arts, and the center for smart technology-based innovation growth businesses. To consistently follow Seoul's urban regeneration vision and goal, 12 projects and 24 sub-projects were devised and selected. With the initiatives of the Boom Up project and other lead projects, such as the Metro Depot development and multi-transit center construction, Seoul aims to spatially connect and integrate the urban regeneration activation area. Through this, we expect the Changdong-Sangye area to be reborn as the new economic center of the capital's northeastern region, with a multitude of jobs and cultural resources. Now, this is a project located in the southwestern area, Magok Industrial Complex Urban Development Project. Magok area has been designated as an urban development district based on the necessity to create a long-term and comprehensive plan because of the area's significance as Seoul's very last large-scale undeveloped area. Its vision and goal is to become a knowledge industry-based green city leading the future of Northeast Asia. The goal of Magok area is to create a self-sufficient knowledge industry cluster where cutting-edge research, business, and leisure are possible. To activate Magok area, a residential area behind the industrial complex is designed, which is going to be a walkable and bikeable area with abundant green open space. Recently, Seoul Botanical Garden opened, with the theme of plants and water. This open space provides a unique experience in the daily lives of Seoul citizens who are urban dwellers. Magok area is being recreated in a self-sufficient city with a global R&D cluster equipped with residential and commercial functions, along with a park. Next is on the Campus Town project that covers 49 university areas in Seoul. As youth unemployment, housing problems for the youth are deepening. Such effects are also affecting universities and its nearby areas. We aim to solve the problems of youth, universities, and their neighboring areas originating from youth unemployment through urban regeneration. By having universities cooperate with its local economy and with government support, our purpose is to reinvigorate campus towns with a focus on creating jobs. The Campus Town project considers the locational characteristics of each university and executes spatial plans to foster exchanges and communications among creative agents. Based on university resources, local demand, and cooperation between Seoul Metropolitan Government and the central government's public projects, we wish to diversify and systemize Campus Town programs depending on the university and local characteristics. We wish to strengthen the university network while maximizing and linking the strengths of university characteristics and create a sustainable campus town cluster and a creative ecosystem. This is the vision and goal for Annam Campus of Korea University, which is a pilot project for Campus Town project. This is the Dashi Sewon project, which is part of a regeneration project for the city center. Sewon, meaning for all good power to come, was built in 1968 as Korea's first mixed-use building. It was a 1.2-kilometer-long mega-structure that symbolized modern architecture. However, as Yongsan, Gangnam grew into city centers for industries, Sewon's industrial function has debilitated over time, which then led to the area's demise to the point of considering the destruction of the structure. Seoul established a new regeneration plan to activate Sewon centered on the creative cultural industry. Its first phase was completed and opened in September 2017, and Phase 2 has begun its construction. Firstly, the Phase 1 area, in which the Green Linear Park was designed, was changed into creating Dashi Sewon Square, which connects all the way up to Jongmyo area. The view of Jongmyo will spread out once you go up to the rooftop of Sewon. The elevated walkway connects north and south as it links Sewon, Daerim, and Jinyang retail stores, which is part of Phase 2. The project reorganizes the space above and below the deck, then connects to its surrounding areas, thus creating a pedestrian-friendly environment. Once the Sewon regeneration project is complete, there will be an elevated pedestrian network which seamlessly connects Jongmyo to Namsan. Lastly, this is the Solo 7017 project. With 0.39 million daily users transferring to and from all directions, Seoul Station can be called as the center for Korea's transportation and the gateway to Seoul. Since the completion of Seoul Station's overpass in 1970, it is a symbol of modernity, serving as the major road for sewing factory merchants coming from Namdaemun Market, Chongpa, and Manli-dong. Although Seoul Station was the main center of transit, due to its isolation from its dwindling surroundings caused by the layout of the overpass and car-centric design, it was considered as a passing place merely for transfers. As a result, the station's vitality has not permeated throughout its surroundings. Additionally, in 2006, it received a D on a safety inspection, causing the city to discuss about its removal. The city of Seoul pushed ahead with the Seoul Station 7017 project, which was mainly to reuse the overpass, in order to utilize the Seoul Station overpass as a catalyst for the surrounding area's regeneration and revival. The city recreated the overpass into an attractive place equipped with convenient facilities and diverse planting to relax, walk, and experience various activities. Pedestrian paths were built to connect the once cut-off stations west to the east, which also led pedestrians to walk towards the surrounding areas. Additionally, the project seeks to find more ways for mutual economic growth and cooperation for Namdaemun Market and its surrounding areas, so that the vivacity created by regeneration can spread throughout its surroundings. Seoul, together with its citizens, is building the future image of the city for the next 100 years. Thank you.